Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to Utility. Today, we're going to be talking about some college football here, specifically the Georgia Bulldogs. A very busy day for them and a day that's going to really shape this program in a lot of different ways. Austin here, we're looking at this tweet from Rusty Mansell breaking down LSU transfer Arik Gilbert, a star player on the offensive side of the ball, transfers to the University of Georgia, had decommitted from a transfer to Florida earlier in the process. Break down what this move could mean for the Georgia Bulldogs and what Arik Gilbert brings to that team.
Yeah, this is absolutely huge for the Georgia Bulldogs. One reason, obviously, Arik Gilbert, extremely talented, one of the top 5 players in his recruiting class at the tight end spot. He was the Georgia Gatorade Player of the Year as an athlete. Just a phenomenal player. Really good catch radius, great athlete as a whole. There's so much to like about his game, and his potential is sky high from an athleticism standpoint. It's insane that they were able to land him in this process. Now, a lot of people early on were favoring Florida because of the success that Dan Mullen had with Kyle Pitts. He was compelled to go there, shortly decommits from Florida afterwards, and then decides he is going to eventually go to Georgia. But in between this time, there were a lot of talks about LSU potentially bringing him back. He was spotted on campus a couple of times during the spring semester. So there were a lot of heavy rumors about him going back to LSU and continuing his career as a Tiger. But obviously, that is not the case now.
Right, you're looking at a 6'5", 250-pound machine at the tight end position. Also, could probably play out wide. He has that type of athleticism where he's going to be a do-it-all type of receiver. And you're looking at someone who did surprisingly choose to stay in the SEC with the University of Georgia. Austin, breakdown what happened in his freshman year at LSU. Why isn't he an LSU Tiger going forward?
Yeah, so there was a lot of problems that were going on. He did not get along with the coaching staff. There were rumors of that, but it was also just a lack of success as a whole. So obviously, as the year started off, they had a mess at the quarterback situation. There were 3 guys that were rotating in and out at the quarterback spot. Miles Brennan was the starter at the very beginning of the year, gets hurt, and then you have a rotation of Max Johnson and TJ Finley. Finley ended up transferring as well. So now it's Brennan and Johnson once again competing for the starting job this year. There were some uncertainties. JT Daniels is the quarterback at Georgia. They know that moving forward. So let's kind of talk about Georgia a little bit here. They know how to land transfers. Kirby Smart is one of the best recruiters in the entire nation. Next year, or this year currently for 2021, has the 4th best recruiting class. Next year, he's got the number 1 class. I mean, he knows how to recruit. He knows how to land transfers. JT Daniels was a 5-star out of USC, was able to convince him to come over of last year, and he is the guy moving forward. So Arik Gilbert gets some stability there. But what we have to talk about a little bit here is it's a family decision. You can't fault him for wanting to stay at home, stay close to his family. Obviously, he chose to leave Georgia for LSU in the first place, but now he's kind of regretting that decision. They talk about him playing wide receiver. He is going to be utilized in a lot of different ways. This is very similar to Kyle Pitts and how he was used. I think this is an awesome marriage for these two. They're going to have a phenomenal rest of his career, which could only be 2 more seasons. I think as a junior, after his junior season, he is gone. I think he is going to the NFL draft. I believe he will be a first-round pick.
Right, that's exactly what I was going to just ask you there, Austin, as well. And looking at Arik Gilbert here, you have to respect the decision to come back home, stay close to family. That's such a big decision. You know, these guys who are athletes are people too. They want to be around their family, and that's something you really love to see. And for LSU here, we're seeing a real talent drain and a brain drain from this program in recent years, of course. The year that Joe Burrow ended up going to the NFL draft kind of left their offense in some question marks. Joe Brady, another big loss. We've seen how successful he's been with the Carolina Panthers as an offensive coordinator. LSU loses yet another big-time player in Arik Gilbert here, but they're not the only successful program losing some talent. The Clemson Tigers, of course, lost Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne in the draft, but they also today lost a big-time transfer. Darian Kendrick lands with the Georgia Bulldogs. A big day for Georgia, like we were talking about earlier on in the show here, Austin. Break down how big of a deal this is, Darian Kendrick going to Georgia.
Now, the key here for me is kind of looking at this Georgia defense as a whole. what they really needed to do was replace Eric Stokes and Tyson Campbell. And here you go. This is exactly what they needed. I think Darian Kendrick saw the success that Georgia had in developing corners and having them drafted pretty high. Obviously, Stokes went in the first round, and Tyson Campbell was the very first pick of the second round. So he decides he's going to take off for Georgia. This is an absolutely loaded roster. Darian Kendrick's going to be able to play in some big games. I think that college football playoff is very realistic for the Georgia Bulldogs. They have the talent to do so. They have the head coach to do so. They have not been able to win the big one for quite some time. I think 1980 was the last time Georgia had won the national title, but this is a humongous transfer. Darian Kendrick, before the NFL draft had started and he, undeclared from the draft to stay at college one more year, he was thought to be a potential first round selection. I think he will solidify that this year with the Bulldogs, considering the success that they've had at ultimately grooming those corners, not only corners, but the great defensive players on top of it.
Right. Darian Kendrick's going to be a big time name to watch in the 2022 NFL draft cycle. You guys are going to see him in a lot of our first round mocks, more than likely, especially if that production does keep up at the University of Georgia. This is a big time loss for Clemson. A lot of talent lost in this offseason for the Clemson Tigers, but you're looking at the Georgia Bulldogs really capitalizing on two of the best transfers out on the market, Darian Kendrick and Arik Gilbert. Austin, for Georgia, how confident are you in this team next year? I know you had just mentioned that you think it's possible they will be in a college playoffs. How comfortable do you feel in this roster?
I feel pretty good. I really like the quarterback situation. I think JT Daniels is going to be the leader for them moving forward. He's going to be a consistent arm for them. Zamir White, the running back, I think he's a phenomenal talent. He's going to be drafted really high when it comes his time. I think he's going to be a first or second round pick when it comes to the NFL draft. There's a lot of talent on this defense as a whole. They consistently land 5-star defenders. It's absolutely crazy the amount of talent that they've amassed. Kirby Smart, one of the masterful recruiters in the entire nation, consistently has top 5 recruiting classes as a whole. And he's done a great job assembling this program and making them a powerhouse. I think pretty soon we could see them hoisting that trophy and being the college football playoff champions, because they are just loaded with talent. And I think, they could put it together soon.
That would be very awesome to see. They came close a few years ago, add in some real talent today. They're going to be a lot better next season. Darian Kendrick fills a huge need at the cornerback spot, like you mentioned. Hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, smash that like button. It lets us know here at Utility Sports that you are enjoying the content we've been putting out for you guys. Make sure you're also subscribed. We're inching closer and closer to 3,000 subscribers. We've got a jersey giveaway coming up in the future as well. That'll be something you guys want to be a part of, so you have a shot to win the jersey. Thanks again, guys, so much for the support. It means so much to us, and we'll catch you in the very next video.